Brooklyn this morning. Cops say it happened about 10:30 a.m. on Herzl Street. Authorities say a 38-year-old man was shot in the stomach after he got into an argument with another man. He later died at the hospital. So far, there have been no arrests reported. The New York Attorney General plans to sue New York City over the taxi medallion crisis.
Letitia James accuses the city of artificially inflating the prices of taxi medallions, which have plummeted over recent years with the rise of app-based companies like Uber and Lyft. And James says New York City should give $800 million to the taxi drivers who are buried in debt. The Attorney General says the city was supposed to ensure fair practices in the marketplace, but engaged in a scheme that defrauded medallion owners. Mayor de Blasio's administration says it spent years taking steps to help taxi drivers in a crisis that began in the prior administration. I'm Scott Pringle, WOR News.
The United States is working towards a peace deal with the Taliban in Afghanistan, contingent on a week-long reduction in violence that begins tomorrow. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo says the two sides hope to sign the deal on February 29th if the week-long reduction in violence holds. The Taliban leader took the rare step of writing an op-ed piece in the New York Times to confirm the deal. Democratic officials and the campaigns in Nevada are desperately hoping to avoid another caucus meltdown like the one in Iowa.
In recent weeks, the Nevada Democratic Party ditched a new app it had planned to use to report results and trained caucus volunteers on new procedures. Precinct captains are using iPads to enter the number of caucus attendees and their candidate preferences into a precinct-specific form, which will convert the numbers into delegates. Then a volunteer will call in the results using a party hotline, the phone number being closely guarded. The Google form will also automatically transmit results of the state party's master file. There will be a paper record for each caucus result. Then the only thing that remains is the math between the early voters and the Saturday caucus goers being tabulated. Mike Bauer for 710 WOR.
And the news is brought to you by National Realty. Learn the insider method of obtaining 18 to 21% targeted returns on prime building locations. Next up, we check out the forecast.
Make refreshing updates to your bath from the ground up and save during Lowe's Bath Savings Event. Now you can get 12 by 12-inch smoke gray porcelain tile at a new lower price, starting at just 77 cents per square foot. And see your home in a whole new light by shopping thousands of lighting options in-store and online. Plus, you can get your new lighting installed starting as low as $89. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Bath offer valid through 3/4. Install offer valid through 4/8. Exclusions and more fees apply. See store or Lowe's.com for details and licensing. U.S. only.
I'm loving the all-new dual camera system with ultra-wide on iPhone 11.
You know what I love, Sprintern?
That you can get the amazing iPhone 11 for $0 a month when you trade in your iPhone 6s or newer?
In any condition.
Seriously, any condition.
So, switch today.
Visit your local Sprint store, Sprint.com, or call 800-SPRINT-1 today. iPhone 11, 64 gigabytes, $0 a month, up to $29.17 a month. Credit applied with 2 bills. Requires unlocked trade-in, 18-month lease, new line service, and approved credit. If you cancel early, remain amounts due. Coverage and offer not available. Other risks, taxes, $30 activation fee, and restrictions apply.
Here's a WOR Weather Channel forecast. Sunshine here for the afternoon, up into the mid-30s today. Clear sky tonight. Not as cold tonight, low 27. Sunny, warmer tomorrow with a high 47. And abundant sunshine on Sunday with a high 52. A few clouds on Monday. Monday's high 52. Richard Wedding of the Weather Channel on 710 WOR.
Sponsored by Publishers Clearinghouse. This is a last chance alert. In just days, Publishers Clearinghouse will award $5,000 a week forever. You could win $5,000 a week for your life. Plus, after that, $5,000 a week for life for someone you choose. Enter at PCH.com now. Entries due 2/25. No purchase necessary. Void where prohibited.
Wall Street taking a tumble today. The Dow is down 192 points at 29,027. The Nasdaq is off nearly 1.5%. It's off 138 at 96.13, and the S&P is down nearly 30 points right now. The news is brought to you by Positive Coaching Alliance. Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org. Our next news at 1:30. Breaking news at 1. Start your day with Len Berman and Michael Riedel in the morning, 6 to 10 Monday morning. I'm Jeff McKinney, 710 WOR, and NBC News radio station. 31 degrees right now, and the time is 1:06.
Now on 710 WOR, the voice of New York, it's the Rush Limbaugh Show.
Greetings to you, music lovers, thrill seekers, and conversationalists all across the fruited plain. I am Rush Limbaugh, America's real anchorman, America's truth detector, and the doctor of democracy on Friday.
And now, from sunny South Florida, it's Open Line Friday.
Yes, sirree, whatever you want to talk about is perfectly fine. The telephone number, 800-282-2882, and the email address, lrushmo@eibnet.us. Look, I need to make a major correction. When I said sign stealing, i.e. cheating in baseball, is no big deal, I misspoke. What I meant to say, it's not unusual. It is a big deal from a moral and a fairness standpoint. It is a big deal. I don't want anybody to believe it. I think cheating is okay. That's not the point. But it's not unusual. The Astros just took it to a new level. Now, I found out something in the past year that I didn't know about all this. 1951 was the year I was born. I was born January 51. When I was 10 months old, there was a huge baseball game between the New York Giants and the Brooklyn Dodgers. And in that season, they had a 3-game playoff to determine the winner of the National League pennant that year. The Dodgers had something like a 13-game lead, Brian, with 6 weeks left in the season, and the Giants ended up winning the pennant from the Dodgers, overcoming those 13 games or 12, whatever it was. The culmination was Bobby Thompson's home run, 1951. Ralph Branca on the mound for the Dodgers. Bobby Thompson shot her. It's at the Polo Grounds, and it was shot heard around the world, and everybody thought it was just magical. It was the culmination of one of the greatest comebacks in Major League history. Well, guess what? Out in center field, the signs were being stolen via a telescope or binoculars or something, and interestingly enough, it was a buzzer system from the employee in center field letting the dugout know what the pitch that had was, and they found a way to inform the hitter. And apparently everybody knew it. Everybody knew this was going on after the fact. Ralph Branca, who gave up the home run pitch to Bobby Thompson, Thompson knew it. And in interviews about this, in years and years after the game and after the event, nobody would deny it. I didn't know any of this until a year ago when this Astros stuff bubbled up, and all kinds of history about sign stealing in baseball began to resurface. There were comments like, yeah, Branca knew that Thompson was sitting on the pitch. Take a look at the film. Well, it was film. Take a look. Bobby Thompson, he jumped on that pitch. He knew what was coming. And nobody has denied it. And Branca made a lot of money on the speaking circuit for years as the guy who gave up the shot heard round the world. Now, and there was a recent story about this, I think in the New York Post, and maybe our Eagle Eye website, people go out and search it and put the link at rushlimbaugh.com so you can read it for yourself. The story in the Post backs up stuff I learned a year ago. It makes it sound like it was commonplace, and everybody knew it. Stealing signs in baseball. Can I tell you a little story? I'll try to make this as brief as I can. When I worked for the Kansas City Royals, handheld video cameras, camcorders, were just hitting the market, and it was commonplace for a team employee to be in a dugout with where the media cameras were in the dugout to videotape your own players at bat for later study. And I was the guy assigned to do this because I was the high-tech wizard. Wherever I've been the high-tech wizard. So I'm in the dugout, the Royals dugout at the time, first base line. So I'm at about first base in the section of the dugout where all of the photographers for the media are. And I'm aiming the camcorder at the plate for right-handed hitters.
Third down.
because that's a full front-on view of the right-hand hitter, the swing, and so forth. Well, the camcorder had a blinking red light when it was operating. And I forget who we were playing, but the opposing manager, who was in the third base dugout and could see the blinking light on the camcorder, called timeout, stormed out to the umpire, demanded to know. He thought that we were sending signals. He thought that blinking red light on the camcorder was a way of sending signals to the hitter. He thought his pitcher's signs were being stolen. It was a 10-minute conversation out there. I think Dick Hauser was the manager for the Royals at the time. And I'm watching this, and I'm not knowing that this conversation is about me. And then all of a sudden, the opposing manager turns and points at the section dugout that I'm in. I still don't get what's going on. It goes 10 minutes, and the game's paused, and nobody's been thrown out. It's a heated argument between the opposing manager. I don't even remember who Royals were playing. And finally, I had to leave. I had to stop. Videotaping because they couldn't. Hauser and our guys could not convince the opposing manager. It was just a video camera videotaping our own guys. He said, "I don't like it. You're videotaping. Who knows? You could be aiming at our dugout. You could be stealing whatever." My point in telling you the story, and later when I found out what it was, I was kind of had no idea that I was the subject. Well, what I was doing was the subject of this heated conversation at home plate. But I bring this up only because the idea that stealing signs is somehow unique and outrageous is really not true. It's an art. Sign stealing has become an art in baseball. You get a runner on second base who, that's when the catchers do everything they can to hide the signals they are sending to the pitcher for what pitch they want thrown. Oftentimes, the manager in the dugout is calling the pitch. He's sending a signal to somebody that the pitcher gets and the catcher gets and so forth. Now, what the Astros were doing, as best I can understand, is, are you ready for this? The Astros had all kinds of intricate ways of stealing signs, meaning the pitch that was coming. They had people in the dugout pounding on the trash can to send signals to the hitter. I don't know what the signals were, and I don't know how long this went on, but how somebody didn't figure out pounding on the trash can at a dugout to send signals. It's not normal to pound on a trash can. So then the Astros tried something else, supposedly. Supposedly, players like Jose Altuve were wearing buzzers taped inside their jerseys. And the buzzers would buzz with a code to tell them what the pitch that was coming was, based on however the Astros were stealing it. The evidence for this is that in a playoff game, Altuve hits a home run. He rounds third base on the way to be mobbed by his teammates at home plate, and he is holding onto his jersey with his life, making sure nobody rips it off. And the theory is he was doing this to hide the buzzer that he was wearing. Now, I think that the Astros, because they have been so accused here, and apparently, I mean, their owner has gotten involved, and there's obviously been some truth established. I think there were some people calling the Astros should give up their World Series victories, give up the trophy. It was tainted. It was obtained by cheating and so forth. Maybe their World Series share should be taken away from the players. This is going to be something they're never going to live down. If the Astros play clean and pure as the wind-driven snow for the next 10 years, it's still going to be suspected that every odd victory they have is going to be the result. Gee, they're never going to live it down. And Altuve is not going to be able to live it down. It's going to stick with them. But it's not. Sign stealing is not uncommon. It's just the Astros apparently took it to a high-tech level. And now you've got players for the Yankees who lost to the Astros in the playoffs. I've had my my whole career cheated, and I'm never going to get over it. And I think, get over it, bud. But it has had it's had a dramatic impact, and of course, it comes after all of the performance-enhancing drugs and the steroids and the stuff that was going on in baseball, all of which has just served to ramp up attendance. Major League Baseball attendance has seen TV ratings not so much, but at least not on a par with the NFL. But that's what I think of it, and I who's worse, the Astros or the Patriots, you're asking? Well, see, that's a New York question. Who's worse, the Astros? The Patriots are never going to live that down. Never, ever going to live down the video Spygate. Anyway, let me take a brief time out. Rather than make a transition now to a serious, deathly political issue, we'll take a brief time out, go to an obscene profit break, and we will return. And right after this, don't go away.
Members of the media, do not panic. Your show prep will continue with Rush on the EIB network.
710 WOR.
Nobody thinks twice about getting a second opinion on a doctor or a lawyer. But what about when you need somebody to work on your home, like an electrician, landscaper, or plumber? Somebody doing major work on your pipes definitely calls for a second opinion. So next time you get a recommendation on a pro, get a second opinion at Angie's List. As the authority on local pros, we offer thousands of reviews, plus business info, offers, and photos. Just go to angieslist.com. Hey, you want to feel great about who you're hiring, and we second that opinion.
At Stifel, we believe investment advice is about more than helping you manage your wealth. Our investment advice is about you. It's about providing your kids with opportunities for a head start in life, feeling secure in your retirement, and realizing your dreams just may become a reality because you have a plan. We believe in you. Your path to investment advice starts with your Stifel Financial Advisor. Find your new Stifel Financial Advisor at stifel.com. That's STIFEL. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
Make refreshing updates to your bath from the ground up and save during Lowe's Bath Savings Event. Now you can get 12 by 12 inch smoke gray porcelain tile at a new lower price, starting at just 77 cents per square foot. And see your home in a whole new light by shopping thousands of lighting options in store and online. Plus, you can get your new lighting installed starting as low as $89. Do it right for less. Start with Lowe's. Bath offer valid through 3/4. Install offer valid through 4/8. Exclusions and more fees apply. See store or Lowe's.com for details and licensing. U.S. only.
Time. Displays. Amazing. Ornaments. Decorations. I like this.
We work until midnight, 7 days a week, so you never have to take off work to meet us.
You guys are the best thing ever. My brother owns a construction company. Do you do job sites?
Absolutely. The magic begins when you call 1-800-GOT-JUNK or visit 1-800-GOTJUNK.com.
If cancer treatment didn't work, call Dr. Lederman. We hit the cancer, brain, body, prostate. Call 212 Choices. 212 Choices. Most insurances, Medicare, Medicaid accepted. Dr. Lederman, 212 Choices, 38th and Broadway.
Classic Escapes presents Been There, Haven't Done That with Barry Goldsmith and Shannon Bennett. They'll unveil the best kept secrets of the most coveted destinations around the world. Tune in every Sunday night at 9 right here on WOR.
I wish you could smell that coffee. No wonder people here in Smithtown rely on Maureen's Kitchen for their morning pick-me-up.
Large to go, cream and sugar, please.
And when it comes to running a busy restaurant more affordably, Maureen's Kitchen relies on PSEG Long Island. Our energy efficiency programs are helping to keep electric costs down for businesses of all kinds. Coffee shops to accountants, boutiques to barber shops.
And I'll take an order of the baked oatmeal, too.
PSEG Long Island, powering progress for Long Island business.
New York's only live and local talk show for the ride home. Buck Sexton, weeknights 6 till 7 on 710 WOR.
Let me just tell you something, folks. I think lying to the FISA court is far graver, a far more grave example of cheating than his baseball sign stealing stuff. Lying to the FISA court, spying on political opponents, everything. You want to talk about cheating. You want to talk about stealing signs. You want to talk about voter fraud. You want to about any number of things. Whatever has been going on the past 4 years aimed at Donald Trump pales. The baseball stuff pales in comparison to this. Now, I have here a New York Post story. This is not the one I was referencing. There's a column that was just in the past week or so. But the story I have here from the New York Post is from July 29, 2002. So this is 18 years ago. The mystique of the Miracle of Coogan's Bluff, it's the Polo Grounds center field, had been taking a beating in the past year thanks to a bombshell revelation in a Wall Street Journal that fleshed out decades of rumors that the Giants used an elaborate scheme to steal catchers' signs at the Polo Grounds. Since the Wall Street Journal story broke, denials and evasiveness from the 1951 Giants have been replaced by pride. When the story in the Journal first ran, they all denied it, but later on, when they saw the reaction to it, they claimed credit to it with great pride because it was such a clever thing to have pulled off. Everybody was stealing signs. I don't know anything about our club doing it, said 88-year-old Herman Franks. But it was Herman Franks with a military field scope who ran the Giants sign-stealing operation from the team clubhouse in center field of the old Polo Grounds. Now, this story claims that Bobby Thompson claimed he didn't know what pitch Branca was going to throw. But there are more recent stories than this that indicate Thompson. Okay, back to the phones we go. Valparaiso, Indiana. This is Marv. I'm glad you waited, sir. Great to have you here with us. Hello.
Hi, Rush. Marv, long-time listener, first-time caller from Valparaiso, which is a suburb of Chicago on Lake Michigan.
Thank you, sir.
And having been born in February of 1951, I'm 1 month younger than you, but I have vivid memories of the 1968 Democratic Convention in Chicago. And was in the street. So my question to you, sir, is if the Democrats end up with a brokered convention in Milwaukee and they go to a second or third ballot and the superdelegates kick in, do you think we might be in store for a similar situation with Bernie's supporters?
Well,
if, able to wrestle it away from
it's really tough to sit here and predict riots. But if you want to, I mean, if you want to discuss specific scenarios, I can see Bernie supporters going nuts if he's got the lead in delegates, and if there is some kind of brokered convention that Bloomberg is behind, and he is behind a movement to actually create the circumstances for a brokered convention. If Bernie's voters get, because they know they got sandbagged in 2016. They know Hillary cheated and the DNC cheated, and they know that Bernie was bought off. Bernie's house on the cabin was in a circuitous way purchased by the Clintons. Bernie can be bought, folks. This is what his voters got to be really worried about. Bernie's not a fighter. I don't care what anybody says. He's not a fighter, and he can be bought. And this is what Bloomberg knows. But Bernie's voters are true believers. He collected more money in fundraising after that debate than any of the other candidates. You know, we sit here, and I told you, we laugh at this guy. We call him Crazy Bernie, but there's an element of the Democrat Party that literally adores and loves this guy. And yeah, I can see where they might not remain peaceful at a convention where they believe that the nomination is being stolen from them and from Crazy Bernie. And as the program unfolds, I'll get into the details here of how Bloomberg is trying to set up a brokered convention. I mean, what are the Democrats looking for? You boil it all down, and you put yourself in the real world of the United States today as our country exists. The Democrats are looking for a candidate who can save us from full employment and rising wages. The Democrats are looking for a candidate who can change that. The Democrats are looking for a candidate who can return us to unemployment and flat wages. And every one of their candidates can do it. That's the scary thing. Every Democrat candidate running knows how to slow down the U.S. economy and cost it jobs. But which of those candidates? This is the question. I'm telling you, every Democrat candidate running has policies that will wreck this economy, lose jobs, and cause wages to stagnate. The question is, which of those candidates can excite a majority of voters who will make America suck again?
First down, penalty.
That's what the Democrat candidate's challenge is, to motivate enough voters who want America to suck again, so that there are problems to solve, so that there are grievances, so that there are victims, so that there are people who have to turn to government rather than themselves.
Third down.
Trump cheerleads what? Look at a Trump rally. Trump cheerleads a positive movement of doers and makers.
2-minute warning.
Bernie is the natural leader of angry takers. Trump doesn't have any takers. He has makers and he has doers. But what are Bernie's people angry about? What is there to be angry about in the United States today? Oh, I mean, you can come up with things. We don't have a paradise. Understand that. There never is a paradise. But the Democrats are trying to make people mad. They're trying to convince people that what's going on now somehow isn't real, isn't deserved, just needs to change. We need more people out of work. We need more people losing income. We need more people being discriminated against. We need more rotten trade deals. This is what the Democrats are selling. The question is, are there enough voters to actually want to get behind that kind of thing? They're angry about progress. Progress equals what? Climate change destroying the planet and the environment. They're angry about self-reliance, self-sufficiency. They're angry that Obama failed. You know, there's a lot of Democrats really ticked off that Obama has endorsed the Trump economy by claiming credit for it. Oh, you talk about a sellout. They're angry that Hillary failed. They're angry that Robert Mueller III failed. They're angry that their coup failed. They're angry that their sham impeachment failed. You got a party of angry, destructive haters. And the question is there a Democrat candidate can mobilize enough of these haters to actually win an election? That's what we're up against out there, folks. All right, a brief timeout. It's Open Line Friday. And as I said, talk about whatever it is that's on your mind. We'll come back and resume people on the phones before you know it. Don't go away.
The voice of New York. 710 WOR.
Well, we've got 32 degrees at 1:30. Good afternoon. I'm Jeff McKinney. Will today be the day? Jurors are in day 4 of deliberations in the Harvey Weinstein rape trial. The Jersey City mayor says he was caught off guard by the release of body cam video of last December's deadly shootout that ended with 6 people dead. Officials in Nevada are doing all they can to protect against a repeat of the Iowa disaster. The news is brought to you by the T.J. Martell Foundation. Join the T.J. Martell Foundation in the fight against leukemia, cancer, and AIDS. Your support helps facilitate cutting-edge research that will lead to more effective treatments and save more lives. Visit tjmartell.org to learn about music's promise for a cure. Mostly sunny this afternoon. Look for a high right around 37 degrees. Clear overnight, 27. Sunny tomorrow, about 47 for the high. Our next news at 2 o'clock. Breaking news at once. Start your day with Len Berman and Michael Riedel in the morning. 6 to 10 Monday on 710 WOR. I'm Jeff McKinney. We're at 32 degrees, and the time now is 1:31.
Refreshing bath updates at the right prices. Start with Lowe's. Shop our bath savings event to get up to 40% off select bath essentials, including vanities, faucets, toilets, and more. Plus, when you spend $2.99 or more on kitchen and bath purchases using your Lowe's Advantage card, you can get 24-month special financing. Finish off your project with a new coat of paint and save 15% when you buy any 4 Purdy paintbrushes in-store only. Do it right for less. Start